How's everybody doing? Ooh. It's breaking up. All the remedies you guys been giving me with the whiskey, with the honey and the tea and the garlic, with the ginger. I've been listening to you guys, and I feel so much better. I took a day to rest. I didn't want to push the envelope. But I'm going to finish with Mars in Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And then we're going to go into the new series, The Ascendant. Thank you so much, guys. I'm now $30 in the negative. I was $300 in the negative, and because of you guys, I am now $30 in the negative. Just $30 more to get me back in the clear and making some money, right? I thank you. I love you guys for that. And I'm going to read off the names of those who have been contributing and helping me clear this by those not very kind subscribers, which I still pray for and I still wish them love. Send them light, white light, because sometimes people who are wounded wound others. That's just how it is. People wound you. When you're wounded, you learn to wound others, right? I love you. I do. I thank you so much. Let us read now. Let us read. Celeste Rutledge, send me 100. Irene Chong, Latasha Davis, Yvonne Jap, again, Matthew Prieto. Again, Latrice Martin. Latrice, I got your number. David Hubbard, Victoria Toledo, Anthony Rodriguez, and again, Matthew Prieto. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And I'm keeping you in my prayers because I'm going to do something for you, too. Don't think that because of all these donations is not. I'm gonna give you some of my classes for free. One or two of my classes for you guys. Yes, I'm having it arranged. Please, you gotta give. My classes are worth a lot of money for free for you because you acted out of love, and that means more to me than money. Believe me. Now I can pay my staff and keep my stuff running and going. I understand what you're doing and what you've done and how positive this is. Trust me, this reciprocal relationship is going to help you and me and all of us because we're all in this together. All I need is 4,000 more subscribers, and I'm at the 30,000 subscriber mark, and then you guys don't have to donate anymore. I can give you paid content. You pay $5-6 a month, and you get anything you want. I mean, it's a win for us, for all of us. So let us get that 30,000. Okay, now let me go and talk about Mars in Capricorn. And I read a lot of you guys' responses, and a lot of you express. No, some of you were depressed. Like, damn, which one are we gonna get? The money or the love? Many of you, interestingly enough, chose love. I mean, not love, chose money over love. Now, if you were to ask me as a Mars and Capricorn woman, let's go with the woman first. Fernando, as a woman, as a woman, Now, I'm not a woman, but I was a woman in other lifetimes, right? So I understand the nature of a woman, and most men do too, as quiet as they like to keep it, right? Because we've been both men and women. So we can tap into that part of our psyche and connect to the psyche of women all over. And one thing that women have asked me is, well, it's Fernando, what will you do if you got Mars in Capricorn? What will you do? This is what I would do. If I had Mars in Capricorn and I was made to choose what I want, whether I want money or love, because you do know that you can't have both. You do know that, right? It's got to be one or the other, especially dealing with Capricorn, who has to pay hard and play hard just as equally. Nothing comes free to Capricorn. Nothing comes free to Capricorn. Technically, nothing comes free for anybody. There's always a price to pay down the line. Let's choose the music. Let's choose the music that goes with this segment. El Chango de Maria by, of course, the legendary Tito Rodriguez. And of course, I got here my watermelon spritz. Delicious. Today we're going to talk about Mars in Capricorn Part 3, an esoteric perspective. And there's a lot to cover here. But to answer your question, Fernando, if you were a woman with Mars in Capricorn, what will you do? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to go for the money. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go for the money. But I will fuck every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes my way. Whether he's poor, whether he's rich. If I like him and I'm attracted to him, I'm going to fuck him. Or have him fuck me. If I'm a Capricorn woman. Well, or Mars and Capricorn woman. I'm going to get my shirt off and still keep my money. I will not put my heart out there. I keep my heart and my money a safe distance from these hot cats that my loins happen to be burning for. Because the Capricorn woman is no cold fish in the bedroom. But to awaken the sexuality of the Mars and Capricorn woman, she needs to feel secure. So, my advice to you, secure yourself. Men, men, ladies, men are like lollipops. They're like lollipops. You take one, you suck a good lollipop of a good man, and when you're done with that flavor, you get another one, and you suck that one and enjoy him until you can, until there's no more. So right, and keep on moving. And if there's one that captures your fancy, that your heart happens to fall in love with, hold it, and test the shit out of him. And if it fits your test, then maybe instead of just wrapping the surface, maybe you can open it up and actually wrap the bitch and suck the bitch dry. Okay? How's that? And if he loves you instead of just empty words. If he loves you, put him through the test. And if he jumps hurdles to get to you, then that's the one you put your banks on. But if he don't move one iota of a direction towards you, and in the way that he should, as a Mars and Capricorn woman, because you are gold, a man that wants you should be jumping hurdles for you. And if he's not that nigga, then just suck his lollipop, enjoy it, and keep moving. And keep your money and guard your heart. That's my advice for you, Mrs. Mars in Capricorn. Men are like lollipops. They're a lot of fun. I know. A lot of fun. Hey, listen. Men go through the same thing with women. That's my advice to you. I have a daughter and I got 5 sisters. And 2 of them got Mars in Capricorn. Cha 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 cha. A mí me gusta el mambo, mambo. Quiero cha 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 cha. I gotta keep it happy and lively because I'm talking about Capricorn, the devil, with Mars in its exaltation. That's not easy. Some people that were born with Mars in Capricorn include David Bowie, Albert Einstein, Uri Geller, Lily Tomlin, and Marlene Dietrich. Alrighty, I'm back to be back home in the United States. I gotta get ready now to go to Brazil in March, and by next summer I'll be in Tahiti. And in between, doing conferences and doing tarot card parties for the holidays. So the bookings are available for me to come to your nearby town or city to do astrological parties for your special groups. All you gotta do is pay for my airfare, my expenses, and my fee, and I'm there. This is the time to do it. I'm already getting bookings, so if you want to book, book soon. Okay. Now let's jump in and talk about Mars in Capricorn, an esoteric perspective. In this, I'm going to discuss some of the lusty, lustful, sexually hungry, addictive ambitions, and dark perversity of Mars in Capricorn. Why it's there? You're not going to get an answer in mundane astrology, but you're going to find the answer in mundane astrology. So let's jump in, because there's a lot to cover. All right, let's get ready. Let's get right. La 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 la. La la a la lela a la lela. Yeah. Okay, let's start. Mars in Capricorn. Mars in Capricorn will correlate with a soul that desires to penetrate and set free. That's the first thing you gotta take into consideration. Mars in Capricorn wants to penetrate and also set free all causes of personal inhibitions, constraints, restraints, and repressions. Now that's big, that's huge. The reason, let's go with R. Kelly, with the alleged accusations of sleeping with underage girls. Not underage women, but underage girls. 10 years old, 11, 12, 13. I find it disgusting and repulsive as disgusting and as repulsive as a priest molesting young boys. Total misuse of sexual energy. Horrific. Why do David Weinstein allegedly all these sexual abuses in Hollywood? Bill Cosby allegedly, who've been accused of putting Mickey in women's drinks and opening their legs and fucking them while they don't even know what's going on. Just awful acts against humanity and against our women and our young girls. Why do men do this? Why do they engage in such heinous acts against humanity, against the soul? Well, to be honest, the answer is quite simple. You have to understand that Capricorn is a very sexually repressed sign. Capricorn is not like Pisces. They'll have sex with anybody, with anyone, and enjoy it to the fullest. They could be white, black, Latino, rich, poor. It could be men. It could be women. Bisexuality, homosexuality, sex is sex. A pussy is a pussy. A dick is a dick. A mouth is a mouth. If you close your eyes, you don't know if you're getting your dick sucked by a woman or a man. Does it make a difference? It's still a mouth. It's still warm, and there's a tongue. You get what I'm saying? Even sex becomes relative. So, not many of us are so sexually confident as to be so sexually fluid. To be sexually fluid means that you have to be sexually very confident. And to be sexually very confident means that you already have to have a certain level of constitution of self-worth and self-esteem already built within you coming in. And if you don't have that, and you're trying to develop it, or playing compensation because you lack it, then you're going to engage in acts, heinous acts, perversity. Because deprivation is one extreme, and perversity is the opposite extreme of depravity. So when you're born with Mars in Capricorn, you are here to experience perversity, to be perverted. Perversion. Why? Because you led many lifetimes where you were the opposite. Chaste, virgin, inhibited, or sexually unexperienced. So when you're born with Mars in Capricorn, it's like a mad truck hitting you at 100 miles an hour. Now you want to play catch up because you realize that there's a lot about sex and there's a lot about life that you don't know because you've been repressed most of your life. So at a certain point, you want to play catch up. So then you overindulge in all kinds of immoral acts of a sexual nature. This is to compensate. The soul is trying to compensate for the lack of experience for many lifetimes of not having sexual fluidity or sexual balance in this area. Does that make sense? Let that sink in. Think about that. Let that sink in. I said a lot. I gave you a punch there. Let that sink in while I take a little bit of my spliff. Aye. So if you want to know why R. Kelly allegedly is so perverted, so sexually disgusting, having sex with children, and this includes bestiality. Now, thank God that R. Kelly has not been accused of that. And I'm not going to mention anyone who has. But bestiality, having sex with animals, confers the same psychology. Look at Jeffrey Dahmer, the man who was killing homosexuals in Wisconsin, castrating them, mutilating them, and then eating them. He was eating them. The psychology behind that is that he wants to be these men that he killed because he was sexually inept and did not have the prowess sexually that these men had. They got big dicks, they're sexy, they're hot, they're gay. So if they're gay, they can be ugly, because you can't be ugly and be gay. Well, for the most part, gay men are very attractive looking men, beautiful looking men. Jeffrey Dahmer was a very handsome, good looking man also, but he didn't feel that way within himself. He felt ugly because of the abuses and engrams around Hubbard and hints that was given to him by his parents. So he sought to emulate and absorb that which he was taught to hate. Think about that. Let that sink in. These are signals that are given to us when we are young, and we absorb them. And then when we step out into the world and we find other reference points that are not like ours, and ours is actually the abnormal one, versus the rest of the collective, it alienates you. You develop all kinds of feelings, anger dynamics, resentment. And now you go against society and then you attack that which once you cherished. It's complex psychology. It is. But I hope it makes sense to you. Just think about it. Think about it. It makes sense to me. It makes absolutely sense to me. Now, having said that, as such, this placement of Mars in Capricorn reflects a soul who desires to unlock the cell door of their inner prison. When what's their inner prison? Feeling repressed and feeling small and feeling powerless. Sex over others, especially young girls, can give you a sense of power over another human being. If you're sexually inadequate or a sexual dud, if you have sex with young girls, these young girls are not going to know the difference between a good lover and a bad lover. So that's another way that they can assert power and confidence over their own inadequacy. Do you see where I'm going with this? This is very clinical in the perspective in which I am telling you, but having been myself a former psychotherapist, I can tell you that this is the clinical perspective that's found in the textbooks of social sciences and social pathology, aberrant psychology, abnormal psychology, social work. This is in literature, okay? Why do you think men go to prostitutes? What kind of men go to prostitutes? Men that might not know how to get it up, can't get it up, or maybe sexually unexperienced, so they need to go to a prostitute so they can teach them how to be men. Many of these men that go to clubs like that and seek women of the night to help them be men have Mars in Capricorn. I told you, I used to work for a prostitution ring back in the 90s, and I used to run an escort service. I can't mention the name because I'm not allowed to. But I know what I'm talking about. There are gay men that don't want to be gay. They want to be straight, like women, want to be with a woman, but they cannot be with a woman because they were born gay. And they can never really have a woman experience unless they're born in the next life where they want to have a woman experience and they won't be born gay. But there are many men that used to come to my office in tears. I mean, they like women. They want to be with women, but they can't get it up because what makes them rise is a man's ass or a man's dick. That has nothing to do with learned behavior. It's spiritual. You are born gay. You are born bisexual. These are not things that you learn. Sure, you got straight men and straight women that have a lesbian experience or a gay experience, because we can do that. But it's not because you're going to dedicate your life to that lifestyle if your spirit doesn't call for it. So you have men and women that will go to prostitutes or engage in all kinds of sexual deviant practices in order to compensate for their sexual inadequacy. With Mars in Capricorn, there is a possibility that you were born with a particular sexual inadequacy or ineptitude that will cause you to go to the opposite gradient where it's safer. You're not gonna have sex with a porn actress if you're not good in the bedroom because you haven't had experience. So you'll have sex with someone, with a nun, a priestess, a child who has no experience and cannot gauge or compare and contrast of good sex and bad sex. And the person can feel like somebody because that other person has no other reference points to gauge that person's sexual prowess. Do you see what I'm saying? That's important. And it took me 25 minutes to explain this. But that is the whole bulk and gist behind the sexual perversity that's inherent with people born with Mars in Capricorn. Need a little more spritz. A little more spritz. So, we got that. So, let's move on to the next topic. Um, like I mentioned, the soul born with Mars in Capricorn reflects or has a desire to unlock the cell door of their own inner prison so that the light of personal freedom can shine. What is that personal freedom? To do whatever the fuck you want, regardless of it being moral or amoral. Gotcha. That's Mars in Capricorn. And that's R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, and all the others. Allegedly. So, putting that into that perspective will give you a sense of psychological understanding of these men and why they do what they do. Okay? Um, a freedom that is not limited by moralistic or religious conditions. So, fucking another man or fucking a priest even or a 10-year-old girl don't matter about religion or spirituality. I just said that in other words, same thing. Okay? They come here to experience that. Okay? Now, these conditions that can create an uneasy guilt that attempts to control the instinctual impulses that emanate from the soul is exactly what the Martian Capricorn person is trying to fight. If he feels like having sex with a 10-year-old girl, or if a priest feels like he wants to have sex with a 10-year-old boy and he's in his 50s, he is born with Mars in Capricorn, he feels that he shouldn't pay attention to religion, morality, ethics if he wants to have sex with that 10-year-old boy. Even if he ends up sodomizing that poor 10-year-old boy and breaking his anus open, causing bleeding and probably hurting or probably potentially killing that boy by sodomizing him that way. Such a man, this is why the priests that commit sodomy to 10-year-old boys, or why allegedly R. Kelly may be having sex with 10-year-old girls, 13-year-old girls. And I saw the tapes. Disgusting. Disgusting. But it tells you a lot about maybe that I'm not saying R. Kelly because, again, these are alleged. And we really don't know if that was R. Kelly in those videos because it was a dark silhouette. I gotta say that for liability purposes. But taking another example that doesn't involve R. Kelly so we can get him off the hot seat. Someone that engages in sex with underage children says a lot about how sexually mature or immature they are. Why can't you have sex with someone your own age? Why someone 30, 40 years below your age? Do you want to feel like you're the biggest king on earth because you're going to make a 10-year-old virgin girl unvirgin? And now that you open her up, she'll never forget you because no girl forgets her first experience. So you want to be a king in the bedroom with unexperienced girls who have not even reached puberty. Is that your definition of manhood? Well, it is for these men. You know why? Because these men are broken men and broken women. It's a form of validation to have sex with underage children because they don't know any better. Think about that. Mars in Capricorn. The devil. They don't call Capricorn the devil for no reason now. Okay. Now, now that we put that into perspective, let us move on. Typically, the Mars in Capricorn reflects a soul who has had a series of recent lifelines or past lives in which there has been an intense exposure to authoritarian control of man-made religions and the moralistic societies that these religions create, and to the authoritarianism of parents who have been emotionally and sexually repressed. That sentence packed a punch. That sentence packed a punch. Let me break it down. These people have led many, many lifetimes under a glass menagerie and was their freedom to be themselves, either morally or immorally, was impeded by the dictates of authority, of government, and that of the clergy, the church. So now, in this current incarnation, they want to break away from that model and do their own thing, independent of moral virtues or authoritarian law. Man made. That's deep and very dangerous. Mars in Capricorn. Going on to the third point. In combination, both forms of constraint upon these souls have produced a deep permeating anger that has been repressed. So men and women that have sex with these kids, not only are they having sex to enjoy themselves through these kids, but they're also expressing anger. It's been alleged that R. Kelly, when he's having sex with these 10-year-old girls, 13-year-old girls, he abuses them, makes them eat out of a bowl, puts leashes on them and make them act like dogs, and makes them shit even in a bowl, pisses on them, shits on them. This is psychological anger being directed against society, but the most vulnerable in society, which is our children. There's an anger dynamic behind a pedophile and a child molester and a rapist. We all know that. And the psychological basis for this anger comes from many lifetimes, a consolidated experience of emotional anger rolled up into one human beast of a person who then goes off and causes these heinous acts against humanity of the likes that R. Kelly is being accused of. Mars in Capricorn, the devil. So, in actuality, R. Kelly and people that fall under his genre, Harvey Weinstein, are victims of their own rage, their own inner rage directed outward towards society. The most vulnerable, women and children. Mars in Capricorn. La bolo. Cha cha cha. Oh Lord, I'm sorry. That's my Venus in Leo. I'm wearing Leo colors today. The artistic painter. That had Anyway, going back, I digressed. You put me a little drink and some Leo music, some cha cha cha. I'm already taking off. But then I bring it back on point. So understand that this deep permeating anger that's inherent in the pedophile, molester, abuser, rapist, and wife beater, batterer is based on past life, many past lives of repression, not being able to be who they are, having to toe the line by the dictates of religion and government. So in this incarnation, these souls have said, enough! You gotta watch that movie by Jennifer Lopez. Enough! Now they want to be devil and go against all that is conventional, moral, ethical, and even arbitrary to arbitrate law. So now they have to go like Aquarius. Remember, Aquarius precedes Capricorn. Now they're gonna go against society. Sabroso, el cha cha cha, cariñoso. Okay, so understand that this powerful dynamic is the driving force that explains the behavior of why these men and women, but mostly men, engage in these types of heinous acts. Mars, excuse me, in Capricorn. Okay, now let me make this point. Just that. Okay, now, in combination, both forms of constraint have also caused the emotional reality of the Mars and Capricorn soul to become locked behind closed doors. Emotional denial and stoicism. Within this, the Mars and Capricorn soul has experienced the double standards of hypocrisy of such authoritarianism, control, and righteousness. That which that what occurs behind the closed doors is in opposition or contradiction to the nature of the religious or moralistic codes of conduct taught by the society, religion, or of the parents. That's important. That means that R. Kelly, if we go back to R. Kelly, if he became this monster, allegedly, then that means that he became deeply disappointed in something that he believed in. And that disappointment brought him over the edge, which now he became this antagonist against society, if we were to use the R. Kelly model. Because again, these are just allegations. We don't know whether he did this or not. It's alleged. But because he's in the public spotlight, we have to make sense of the psychology behind those kinds of actions, and what psychological basis was promulgated that this man and men like him will engage in that kind of behavior to hurt people, those close, even your own culture, your own race. What will cause you to do this? Well, a burst of a bubble. Maybe your parents were supposed to be very religious and very morally upstanding, but behind closed doors, you saw them doing other things that contradicted the dictates of the morality of the culture and race and society in which they were taught to live by. This kind of betrayal and hypocrisy is what I'm referencing here. So when you as a child see the hypocrisy early of human nature, then it gives rise to someone that has amoral virtues. Because the moral virtue that you thought were rightfully righteous and upheld was bullshit. Because behind closed doors, you saw something else happening. So now you don't believe neither. And now you develop apathy against the moralistic virtues that are supposed to protect us spiritually and morally. So now we have someone going out into the society being amoral, being iconoclastic and irresponsible because there's no gauging of what's right or wrong because what you thought was right was not really right because people were doing it anyway behind closed doors. Do you see where I'm going here? There had to have been a form of disillusionment in the psyche of those born with Mars and Capricorn that have made them turn against society and turn against themselves. Coupled with the fact that they're here to liberate themselves spiritually, to be more free, because they spend many lifetimes being repressed, being the old crone, the woman that grows old and never marries. This is Mars in Capricorn, and also the moon in Capricorn. Gotta take a drink on that. Okay, now, having mentioned that, the duality of double standards conditions such as souls as that such souls engage in, hypocrisy and having a double standard. You have a set of rules for one group of people, but a set of rules for another group of people. No? And they're all bullshit and it's hypocrisy. That becomes a point of disillusionment, which then creates an anger dynamic in the person because they've been disillusioned. The whole foundation and building block of their own essence of being from childhood to adulthood was a fraud and a falsehood. So now that leaves them open to experience anything they want and go after anything. No holding back because the rings that you were taught to be to toe the line, others were violating it all along anyway and just promoting hypocrisy. This is what I believe happened to R. Kelly. He became disillusioned somehow in some way and his upbringing, which caused him to go the other way because he realized that the hypocrisy of it all. If we are to endorse the allegations brought against R. Kelly, allegedly, because again, we don't know if it's true or not. I'm not gonna say it. We don't know if it's true or not, but using his model since he's in the public spotlight, and as astrologers, we have to make sense of what's happening to this man. This man is an icon and a herald leader of our present culture. Like Whitney Houston, Madonna, Lionel Richie. You know, these are icons of our society. And if they become perverse to this degree, what does that say about our society that we're living in? What message are we giving the generation that's preceding us? This becomes a deep, bigger issue, you know? hmm hmm So, having said that, Those who have been disillusioned to this degree, they learn to present an external behavior and social persona that is at odds with the nature of their personal life or what is occurring behind closed doors. You will have never known that R. Kelly was involved, allegedly, in these heinous acts because the double life, the life that he led externally, did not match the inner life that happened behind closed doors. Mars in Capricorn. It's all about what happens behind closed doors. So, having said that, people like that live a double life. People with Mars and Capricorn are known to live a double life. And so does Mars and Scorpio. Oh, Shango. This is voodoo, witchcraft, voodoo to Shango. You know, Tito Rodriguez and Tito Puente were big witches, and this is a tribute to Shango, one of the archons from the stars of Leo. Yes, a mystery. So, having said that, now let us go into another aspect of this dichotomy and of this aspect of Mars and Capricorn. It's a double life. Those born with Mars and Capricorn lead a double life. Oh, believe it. Oh, please, please. You're not gonna have all that kind of money because you're born with Mars and Capricorn. Let me tell you, you might not have money right now, but trust me, Fernando, you're talking to me. I'm telling you, Uncle Fernando. I'm telling you, if you have Mars in Capricorn, you are going to be wealthy. You are going to be successful. It's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. But will you be happy? Will you find love? Will you have inner peace? Most likely no. Money is going to have to be your guard and your insulator for those born with Mars in Capricorn. And then you know I'm telling you the truth. You might not want to hear it, but I can't concern myself with that. I gotta lay it like it is. That's my job as an astrologer. 25% of life is what happens to you. 75% is how you respond. So how are you going to respond? That's what the gods want to see. Mars in Capricorn. Got him. Okay. All of this creates a. Okay. How am I gonna put this? This double life reflects the Mars and Capricorn's fear of external judgment and persecution. Again, these people don't come out and declare themselves pedophiles or child molesters or having sex with older women when that could be your mother or your grandmother. You just watch the pornos on fucking xnxx.com. I watch some of them because you can learn a lot about a culture by watching pornography. I, as an anthropologist, I do watch pornography. Homosexual pornography, bisexual pornography, heterosexual pornography. Pornography in Italy, pornography in Mexico, pornography in Indonesia, Bangladesh, Pornography of all different races and culture. You can learn a lot by watching pornography of different races and cultures. And what do you learn? That we are all the same motherfucking people with the same basal desires, the same response to these basal desires, and the same outcomes of these desires. Don't matter the race, the culture, or even the gender. We are all the same and we all repeat the same cycles in one form or another. Mars in Capricorn. Balamos cha 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 cha. Woo! Oh my God! It feels like I've said nothing, and I have so much to cover. So much for me to cover Mars in Capricorn. I got to do a part 4, 5, and 6. Get your monies ready. So, because I'm not contracted to do a part 4, 5, or 6, but I will do it if you guys request it enough, and put the donations that matches. Yeah. Um, but I try to give you as much as I can, so you don't have to go that direction unless you pay for a birth chart. Because again, the whole point of doing this is to stimulate you to get a birth chart done, because it is a business. But I don't look at it that way. But that's how YouTube wants me to look at it, because it's about money with YouTube, but it's about education with me. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. It's hard to stay focused with Tito Rodriguez and Pito Puente. But my guys, my archons, they love it. They love it. So I give them a little libation, and I pour some libation, and before you know, I pass out, and they take over the personality, and they talk through it. I don't know what they're telling you, but I find out after the video is done. So again, because a lot of times I'm not present when I'm doing these videos, because they take over. Thank God. Too much energy to deal with. Now, let me talk a little bit about sexuality. But before I do, oh God, I hear you. I hear you. They want me to cover this segment before I jump into more specifics of sexuality. But I only got 8 minutes left. Okay. To act upon these instincts of having sex with minors or with animals or with things that go against our moral code as a society will then give rise to the question, what does this mean about me? Am I a monster? As a result, this fear creates the psychology of concealment, to conceal their personal truth from others, to conceal their perversity from others. That's what that really means. Okay? That's what that really means. And even to themselves, because of the question, what does this mean about me? All of this creates a psychological repression. This in turn creates psychological distortion of all kinds, especially emotional and sexual distortion. Again, the intention of the soul with Mars in Capricorn is to penetrate to the nature of such repressions and distortion, and to totally break free from any source that attempts to control, constrain, or repress any desire leading to the actualization of their individuality that is defined on their own terms. But that definition on their own terms could be amoral in nature. You want to fuck young boys as a priest? We can't let you do that. You want to fuck young girls and you're fucking 50? We can't let you do that. It's against the moral code of our society. We can't let you do that. Why do you have these feelings in you? Why are you born with these feelings? That is something that can be explained if a birth chart is done and we do a past life analysis to find out what went wrong in the soul's evolution that caused them to engage in this type of amoral act against their own nature and against society, their own. Consciously, the personality is not going to know this. If someone like R. Kelly was to come to me, I'd have to do a past life regression to find out what caused those engrams in the first place, which now has become a liability against our culture and our society. Ooh, ooh. And when we find out, then what? Then what? What do we do? Con que a tú me pertenece, a tu vida. Okay. Azúcar. Okay. Sorry. Azúcar. I'm sorry. This is a difficult topic to talk about, so I gotta keep it light. Okay. Understand that this Mars in Capricorn will actualize its karmic and evolutionary intentions by acting out their repressions, acting out the inhibitions. But this is dangerous because society can be liable for it. We cannot have people do what they want, morally, immorally, because it could dismantle the very fabric of our society. Mars in Capricorn seeks, like Uranus, Aquarius, seeks to destroy codified laws, establish norms and traditions that keep society in order and functioning. Those born with Mars in Capricorn do not want to respect those status quos. They want to dismantle it and fight against it. Why? Because the person with Mars in Capricorn has brought back with him in this lifetime an internal anger dynamic that is resentful towards society, government, and religion, because they have been the cornerstones of repression and oppression when it comes to the liberty of the soul. And this human liberty of the soul can best be expressed by our own sexual identity and sexual expression. This is why people like R. Kelly engage in these types of activities sexually. It's not that he's a monster. He's seeking freedom of restraints, of codes and norms and laws that limit us. What he doesn't understand is that we need these laws and codes and ethics to protect our children, to protect our women, to protect on every level the safeguards of society and not go against it. But this is not the case when you're born with Mars in Capricorn, the devil. El cha cha cha. I'm sorry, I know I have a lot of personality. But this is a tough subject to talk about. It's tough. It's tough. Sexually speaking, Mars in Capricorn reflects a soul who desires to break free from all sexual inhibitions and sexual constraints, including moral and amoral ones. I mentioned it. The repression of natural sexual desires over many lifetimes has created a deep sexual emotional anger. The anger linked with repression has also created a deep distortion of the sexual emotional desires and needs. Someone like that requires therapy because they don't understand what the fuck is their problem and why the fuck they're so perverted and why they have so much anger, which is directed sexually towards people below your age or junior to you in age, or against people in society that you're not supposed to be engaging in these types of acts. This anger dynamic did not develop in this life. It came from many lifetimes, accumulated as a consolidated experience. Ladies and gentlemen, we're done with this segment. Please donate for contact www.paypal.me/ the people's astrologer. We are now going to move on to Mars in Aquarius.